The swamp was ancient, primeval. Legends spoke of a creature, a monster from a forgotten time. They called it the Ancient One, a being of immense power and chilling cruelty. The locals knew its story, passed down through generations, a tale whispered in hushed tones around flickering candlelight. Few dared to venture into its depths, paralyzed by an ancient and primal fear. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay and the constant drone of insects. It was a place of shadows and secrets, where the line between reality and nightmare blurred. And at its heart, hidden beneath the murky water, the Ancient One waited. Its presence was felt in the stillness of the night, in the rustling of leaves when no wind blew. The creature was an alligator-snapping turtle, but one of colossal size. Its shell, a gnarled moss-covered dome, stretched 24 feet long. Its eyes, cold and reptilian, glinted from beneath a craggy brow. Its beak, a hooked, bone-crushing weapon, could snap a man into with terrifying ease. Its body, covered in algae and leeches, was a testament to its eons spent submerged in the swamp's fetid embrace. This was no ordinary creature. It was a primeval terror, a relic of a bygone era. A creature born before man walked upright, a time when the world was ruled by monsters. The heart of the swamp, where the ancient turtle resided, was a place of perpetual twilight. Sunbeams, fractured by the dense canopy above, struggled to penetrate the murky depths. Cypress trees, their trunks draped in Spanish moss, rose from the water like gnarled sentinels. The air hung heavy, thick with the smell of decaying vegetation and the hum of insects. The water, stained the color of tea by tannins, offered no reflection, only concealing the horrors that lurked beneath. Here, beneath the tangled roots of ancient trees, lay the turtle's lair, a depression in the swamp floor, littered with the bones of its victims. 700 years had nurtured an insatiable hunger within the turtle. Unlike its smaller kin, content with fish and amphibians, this creature craved larger prey. The lure it used was as old as the creature itself, a fleshy appendage on its tongue, mimicking a worm or grub. Unsuspecting prey, drawn by the promise of an easy meal, would venture too close. The water would erupt with terrifying speed. The turtle's jaws, a whirlwind of bone and muscle, would snap shut with immense force. The beast would retreat back into the depths, its hunger momentarily satiated. Among the inhabitants of the villages that bordered the swamp, the legend of the monstrous turtle was more than just folklore. It was a lived reality, a specter that haunted their waking hours and bled into their nightmares. The disappearances had started subtly. A fisherman returning home late, his boat found overturned, empty nets swaying listlessly. A young woman venturing too close to the water's edge, her laughter swallowed by the oppressive silence. Travelers passing through were warned of the lurking danger, cautioned against straying from the well-worn paths. The moon, a pale disk in the night sky, cast an eerie glow upon the still waters of the swamp. Beneath the surface, hidden from the watchful gaze of the moon, the ancient turtle stirred. Its senses, honed by centuries of predation, were attuned to the subtle rhythms of the swamp. The slightest vibration, the faintest scent of blood, was enough to rouse it from its slumber. Tonight, the hunger gnawed at its ancient gut, a primal urge that whispered of the hunt. It rose slowly, its massive form parting the water with barely a sound. Its eyes, black and fathomless, scanned the shoreline, seeking the silhouette of its next victim. A lone traveler, silhouetted against the moonlit sky, stumbled through the undergrowth at the swamp's edge. He was weary from a long journey, his mind preoccupied with thoughts of home and hearth. He paused at the water's edge, his thirst overwhelming his better judgment. He knelt, cupping his hands to scoop up the cool water, unaware of the danger lurking just beneath the surface. The turtle watched, its ancient heart thrumming with a predatory instinct that predated humanity itself. In a flash of movement too swift for the eye to follow, the turtle struck. The traveler's scream was cut short, swallowed by the oppressive silence of the swamp. News of the traveler's disappearance spread through the nearby village like wildfire. The villagers, hardened by generations of hardship, were no strangers to death, but the manner of this demise chilled them to their core. The elders, their faces etched with the wisdom of experience, spoke in hushed tones of the ancient evil that resided in the swamp. Fear, palpable and suffocating, settled over the village like a shroud. Children were warned to stay away from the swamp, their playful laughter replaced with fearful whispers. Fishermen, their livelihoods dependent on the water, cast their nets with trepidation. The swamp, once a source of sustenance and livelihood, was now viewed with a mixture of awe and terror. Deep in the woods, miles from the fear-stricken village, lived old man Silas, a hardened trapper. His face was a road map of wrinkles, each line etched by years of harsh weather and hard living. He lived a solitary existence, his only companions a pack of loyal hounds and the whispering pines. Silas was a man of few words, but those he spoke carried the weight of experience. He knew the swamp like the back of his hand, its secrets and dangers holding no mystery for him. He'd heard the whispers of the monstrous turtle since he was a boy, but unlike the villagers, his heart harbored no fear, only a deep respect for the creature's ancient power. The villagers, their hope dwindling with each passing moment, implored Silas for help. They spoke of ancient rituals, of sacrifices offered to appease the creature, their voices tinged with desperation. Silas listened patiently, his piercing gaze unwavering, before finally breaking the silence. He knew the creature they spoke of, had seen its handiwork firsthand. He warned them against their foolish notions of rituals and sacrifices, their efforts futile against a creature older than time itself. Yet, even as he spoke. A flicker of something akin to determination ignited in Silas's eyes. Silas, his voice low and gravelly, shared his own tragic history with the creature. He spoke of his brother, taken by the swamp years ago, his disappearance shrouded in the same chilling silence that now haunted the village. He told them of the creature's weakness, its insatiable hunger, a double-edged sword. A plan began to form in his mind, a dangerous gamble fueled by grief and a thirst for vengeance. The villagers listened, their initial fear replaced by a glimmer of hope. With Silas leading the way, they would face their nightmare head-on, their fear tempered by a newfound resolve. Dawn broke over the village, painting the sky with hues of blood orange and bruised purple. A tense silence hung in the air, heavier than the morning mist clinging to the ground. The villagers gathered in the square, their faces drawn, eyes reflecting the fear and determination that warred within their hearts. Old Man Silas, his weathered face and unreadable mask, oversaw the preparations. Axes were sharpened, ropes tested for strength, their usual mundane functions now imbued with a sense of urgency. Women folk, their faces etched with worry, prepared provisions, their hands moving with a practiced efficiency. Silas, his voice low and steady, addressed the group, making no promises, offering no false hope. The sun climbed higher, its rays struggling to penetrate the dense canopy above, as the group, led by Silas and his hounds, ventured into the swamp. The air grew thick with the cloying scent of decay, the ground spongy beneath their feet. Each step was an effort, a testament to their resolve. The familiar sounds of the forest were replaced by a heavy silence, broken only by the rhythmic thud of their own hearts. Giant cypress trees, draped in Spanish moss like ghostly shrouds, loomed over them. The deeper they ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The water, stained the color of black tea, seemed to watch their every move. Fear, primal and instinctive, tightened its grip on their chests. Yet, they pressed on, driven by a shared terror that was more potent than their fear. They reached the spot Silas had chosen, a clearing near the water's edge, where the trees thinned, allowing a sliver of moonlight to penetrate. A large, flat rock jutted out over the water, a natural platform for their deadly performance. Silas, his eyes hard as flint, gave the signal. The villagers set about their gruesome task. A freshly slaughtered goat, its blood staining the earth crimson, was secured to the rock. The air grew thick with the metallic tang of blood. The full moon cast long, distorted shadows that danced around them. Then a ripple disturbed the stillness of the water. From the depths, two glowing orbs emerged. The beast was awake. The water erupted with a sound like thunder as the monstrous turtle surged from the depths. Its colossal form, illuminated by the moon, dwarfed the small group of men. The goat was snatched in its gaping jaws, bones crunching like twigs. Panic gripped the villagers. Some fled, their screams swallowed by the swamp. Others stood their ground, desperate to survive. Silas aimed his rifle, the shot echoing through the stillness. The bullet glanced off the turtle's ancient hide, the air filled with the sounds of struggle, metal against bone, desperate shouts, and guttural roars. The swamp itself seemed to writhe in response, the water churning. Silas watched as the beast retreated, leaving behind a scene of carnage and defeat. The swamp, silent once more, held its secrets close. Dawn painted the sky with hues of mourning. The villagers returned home, their faces etched with relief and profound sadness. The monstrous turtle, its legend forever intertwined with their lives, had claimed more victims. The swamp remained a place of danger, a constant reminder of the power of the natural world. The legend lived on, whispered around flickering candlelight, a cautionary tale passed down through generations.